My
Different
math,
level
my
craziness.
professor, Vinicius, Magalhães, Draculino.
Great
Man,
being here, brother.
man, so great to talk to you. You know, we have Alexandre, your favorite student.
It's one of my favorite. It's one of my favorite. I like crazy
That
people,
rock.
so, you know. I always like crazy people. I have a special affection for the crazy. So it's all good.
Oh my
It's all
God.
good.
Welcome,
Oh
welcome
boy.
to 2020, right? COVID-19, year of the
Oh
COVID-19.
man, 2020. Tell me about it. This is like a crazy decade, man. Starting like in the beginning of the year already with dealing with all these things, putting us all hostages. Well, it is what it is. But like you said, man, you're alive, bro. Right? We're
We're
alive.
alive.
So
That's it.
we're
That's
alive and
it.
healthy. Thank God. You know, that's it.
Yeah. As long as we're alive, right? One foot in front of the other and day by day, week by week. I can't help but like
Exactly.
think about like, man, what if we can't do jujitsu anymore? Like this is like my life, you know. I can't like
Exactly.
I start to go crazy, but you can't think like that, right?
No, we can't because honestly, uh, we'll find a way, man. We'll
Yeah.
find a way. You know, we just have to replicate what jujitsu is. With
Right.
jujitsu, always find a way. We're gonna
Yeah.
find a way. You know, we through perseverance, through struggle, through whatever. But we gotta
Mm.
make it happen. That's no other way. That's the only thing you know how to do. Shit. I mean,
Yeah.
you have your tech fit. I don't have nothing.
No, but you know that's the thing though, right? It's like it's through jujitsu, right? The martial
Through
arts
jujitsu,
spirit.
of course,
So
of course. We
you
talked
know,
about that before,
so
actually.
yeah.
But man, like tech fit is a really great alternative now, huh? Because man, you can
Respect.
keep people separated, and it's the material can clean the material after, and
Yeah.
I great
Yeah.
get a great workout. Man, that's awesome. That's good.
And it
I'm glad.
and it makes the jiu-jitsu better, it makes you better, it makes you work
That's what
better.
I'm
So
saying. That's what I'm saying. It's a lot of people, man. Like honestly, we can do stuff.
yeah.
It's up to us. It's up to us to have the discipline, and we can still keep our bodies healthy and working out and doing jiu-jitsu specific exercises as well. Just a
Hmm.
matter of discipline, I believe. You know,
Yeah. That's it.
that's pretty much
Discipline.
it.
Yeah. Showing up, the community. Like, I mean, there's so many pieces, right? I'm gonna ask you a bunch of questions on just like on
Awesome.
the community, you know.
All right. All
First of all,
right.
speaking of like the Zoom and the online, did you ever think you'd be teaching classes online like this
Man,
in
no,
a
man,
million years?
brother. Let me tell you one thing. I like confess to you. I didn't even know what Zoom was before all this crap. I didn't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I actually that's an understatement because one time I participated on a meeting through this thing that
Hmm.
like people just sent me a link and I did it, but I didn't even remember it was Zoom. And then
Yeah.
like, oh man, this thing Zoom, we can do interactive, and I was like Zoom, and then I was oh okay, I remember that. And then like it's incredible that how we can like use like something that we're doing a meeting is a podcast different, but man like it's pretty cool what the
Yeah.
class can be like pretty interactive actually.
Yeah.
It was better than I thought actually,
Yeah.
you know. Man, you can see like I go I'm teaching some classes. I taught like probably 10 classes so far. So I
Mm-hmm.
go, I teach the moves, and I see the students, and I
Mm-hmm.
kind of can say, hey, move your hip a little bit better. Okay, so bridge a little bit higher. Do this, get a better angle. We can actually correct the guy without touching the person.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
man, like if that's what we need to do for now, shit, that's what you gotta do. You know,
If that's all we have, right? That's
that's
it's
if that's all we
amazing.
have, man. That's what we gotta do. I know that we are creatures that like to put their
Zoom
hands on each other. You know, we're
Zoom is
grapplers.
a
We do all that. So we're missing that. But what can we do?
Yeah,
You know
nice. Now I'm here.
what?
No,
oh,
I
Sean
want
here.
to say that Zoom is a company from the president of China.
Oh yeah, oh yeah,
It's a Chinese company.
Chinese company.
my
I'm
brother.
just kidding.
Look, what is not from China? I
Yeah,
mean, everything. You know, all the t-shirts, everything you wear is from there. You know, all the materials. I'm looking here at my electric skateboard box here. Do you think they made it where? Here in America? No, it's made in China. You know, everything,
yeah.
the components, the computers, everything is made in China. So,
Man, I
China is
bought
the
a
factory of the world. The US is the bank of the world. That's what it is.
Yeah, man, I bought a mind candy from the store beside here, and I was eating, the mind candy, and then I saw the
mint candy.
yeah, mint candy, yeah,
Mint,
and yeah, and then I saw made in China. Oh my God, I can't believe. And then I opened with afraid of Corona inside.
The thing I hope, I hope, right? Like my hope or my thoughts are like, hopefully the human spirit, right, prevails.
Oh yeah.
Because with the AI and artificial intelligence and technology things, like I just hope the human spirit prevails, in all
For
this.
sure. Brother, let me tell you one thing, like I always believe that everything, even a situation like that, has good sides. Okay. I think for me, myself, what I'm like analyzing with all this is that, man, we cannot take for granted a great life that we had. Man, we had like an amazing, easy, and beautiful life that we have more than we need and deserve. Man, like I caught myself complaining about a lot of like little tiny shit before, like kind of nagging about that. And nowadays I go like, man, I was like complaining about, man, being a little tired to go get some sushi on the corner. What the fuck, man? Now I'll give everything to be able to have the freedom to go there and get a sushi hassle free with my friends and my family. And, like little stuff, you know what I mean? To be able to travel if I wanted to be able to, to grapple, to train. Now, man, like we can't do it, So this makes us appreciate what matters in life, which is the day by day, the little things. I think like after that, man, I'll be way more, at least me, I'll be way more appreciative of everything we had. It's kind of like we say, we're happy we didn't know about it, right? So it's kind of that. So that's the biggest lesson for me with all this thing,
Yeah, that's it. There's always like a positive silver lining, right, at the table. Like one of my favorite quotes is from Napoleon Hill, and that's one of the he wrote a book called Think and,
You gave me the book, porra. You gave me the book the first time. Think and Grow Rich. Think and Grow Rich.
Yeah, that's why I moved to Brazil.
I remember that, man.
That's why I moved to Brazil.
What a great book. I read 2 books of him. Yes. I read the Laws of Success too. Oh, that one is like the Laws of Success is really, really good. It's a lot related to the first though. Really good.
Yeah, one of my favorite like sayings is every adversity carries with it the seed of an equivalent or greater benefit. So anything that bad happens to you, like you have the same or even greater, right? Effect on the opposite end.
It builds character, man. It makes us stronger. We just have to persevere. You just cannot succumb to the circumstances. So we close the door.
Stay away from the news, right? And I think I try to stay away from everything that brings my energy level down.
Man, look, honestly, I'm not gonna lie to you. There are days, good days, and not that great days. Some days I'm just like not feeling myself, and I feel that I'm negative. I feel that I'm carrying like some negativity, and sometimes like the whole family, even though I love my family, they're always great, but sometimes like 1 or 2 of us, it's like it infects everybody, So we have to be really careful with that, especially because we're all like secluded in a small space, So we have to be really, really careful with that. That can be bad, It brings the worst of us. So.
Yeah. I mean, when you're in that mindset of like being fearful, right? You're always worried about getting infected, or you don't know what, right? When you look at the news, like what's right, what's wrong, what's real, what's not.
Man, I saw the same day one time the news. The same day, I saw one doctor or scientist. I don't remember his name. The guy was like from the scientific field. The guy said like, "Oh no, it's not airborne. You can never get this thing in the air. It's like, I mean, if it flies close by, it can get you. But I mean, it doesn't get like kind of floating in the air or anything like that." And then another guy, man, like 30 minutes later, goes, "No, it's not for sure yet. It may be airborne. It may be staying in the air." I said, "What the fuck, man? You know what I mean? what is true, what is not. You know what I mean? Like it's tough, man. It's
and we
tough.
trust, or we relied on the news to get us the real information.
Exactly.
They're just doing it to
I don't watch anymore too much, man. I honestly, sometimes I just watch the Brazilian news because the Brazilian news are like, even though they suck as every other one, they at least they show really credible people that I know, because we know some of the doctors for a long time. Even my father's from the medical field, so at least you know that serious people. But even them, you can see that even then they don't know about it for sure. They're confused. They change. You know, they go like, oh, okay, oh yeah, maybe this. So it's tough, man. So it's better not to see it anyway. You know what I mean? That's it.
Yeah, we can talk about this situation, I think, and like all of us all day long. This, you know, because every day is different, right? And we just like some days are better than others, right? And we for sure like just took for granted, right?
Think, like overall, brother, I think my opinion on this is that we need to do our small part on this. One thing we do know for sure: this is very contagious. It spreads really easily. So being secluded now, it's the best thing we can do for ourselves and for the community.
Right.
So this is what you got to do now. And I mean, we have to trust, even though we don't, the government in a way that, I mean, they gonna give guidelines in order to how we're gonna get back from this, and liking it or not, you have to follow it, you know, and go day by day, man, and pray that there's no like another outcome again, you know, maybe people do this and then it goes out a little bit and then boom, it comes back. That would be really bad.
Yeah, I don't know, you know, like Sweden, right? They have a limited lockdown kind of thing, right? So
I think several countries actually they have that, but I think Sweden, yes. Some other countries, like I saw yesterday, that some other countries simply didn't do anything. You know that, right?
Which countries?
It's like some of the Eastern European country. It's man, I forgot the name. One of the ex-Soviet Union countries, and I was in his own country. Oh man, what's the name? Anyway, the guy said that the president said that man, if you guys get that, vodka with honey and sauna. That's why he said, I'll do research. Like I saw yesterday in the Brazilian news, this guy has a mustache. It's kind of big. Okay, vodka honey with honey and sauna, and you'll be good. I was like, what the heck? Oh, only laughing.
In Armenia, they were interviewing all the old guys, you know, in the streets, you know, like, hey, aren't you worried about, you know, getting sick, and what are you guys doing to, you know, prevent or to, you know, to make sure you're safe, you know? And they're like, oh, we just do shots of vodka.
Okay. But I'm pretty sure what is Armenia? It wasn't Armenia, the country. The country is one of these like Latvia,
something like
one
that.
of those like on the Eastern European, like not Ukraine. Not. I'll let you know. I'll find out.
A part of me, like I listen to all the things, right? And of course I want to do my part, you know, and I think like the beginning part was like flattening the curve, right? The healthcare like workers from getting overwhelmed. But like if everybody's gonna get it, you know, like they say, like most of the people in the world are gonna get it at one point. Like, I mean,
people have to go,
well, we have to kind of live, right, and like go on with our lives, and then
No, I agree too. I mean, I get it too. I get it. I thought about it a bunch of times too, exactly like you. But man, like what scares me is that I have a couple of people. This was public, so I can tell you now, but I knew it before. You saw that Roger got it, right?
Yeah.
Roger got it, and now yesterday, Rafael Carino, they used to fight in the UFC. Remember, big guy from Nobodion?
Yeah.
He also got it, and I mean, Roger, I talk to Roger often, but they both were really kind of like, man, screw it, we're gonna get it. We're just gonna go, and it's like they were really vocal about not secluding and not, man. If you talk to them now, they change their mind. Especially at Rafael Carino. Rafael Carino was on the ICU. He almost died.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. And he's like, him and Roger are like no previous condition, strong, big, strong guys that train, they eat well. Yeah. So you never know that's the thing, man. You know, it's
Yeah.
weird.
We don't know, right? We don't know.
We don't know.
We don't know the factor for sure.
Yeah.
And let's switch it up. I wanna talk some old school stories. You know, like
Yeah.
one of the amazing things like hanging out with you is always hearing like these old stories, like Gracie family stories, and like back from the hood. You know, like going to the houses and like Henzo's dad, Hobson's dad's house, and like fights, the street fights in the house. Like, how was it growing up with the Gracies?
Oh man, it definitely shaped me who I am. That's for sure. You know, like it puts on me like a lot of traits or personality that I will carry to the rest of my life. And now that I'm older, I try to analyze some of the things that I carry. They're not like the correct political correct one, but I am who I am, and
Yeah.
and that's a lot of things that came from this from growing up with lots of them on being on the mats and learning their philosophy, and you know, participating. I was really blessed to. I didn't hear about the stories. I lived a lot of the stories. So
Right. You
yeah,
told
this is
that.
pretty cool.
I heard about them. That's why I'm asking
You
you.
also lived.
You lived them.
You also like
I got the tail end.
yeah.
You know, I have Hein Gracie stories. You know, us.
Exactly.
You
You
know,
were
for
there.
example, we
You
get
were
to
there.
we get to the nightclub. Nobody has money, and there's like 50 of us outside the club. And he's like, man, and it's like 50 guys to get in. And he's like, man, they can't stop us all if we all go in there at the same time. And so he got us to jump the wall and to all run inside at the same time, right? Like we have some stories, right? We have some stories.
Exactly.
So you live the stories. You live the stories, like all the stories with these guys.
Man, like I mean, we grew up like together, right? So we're friends. Man, I'm about to be 50, and it's almost 40 years of friendship there. 40 years of
40 years.
40 years, yeah, like hanging out together. My classmate of mine was Carlos Russo, Daniel's Gracie's brother, and my brother was classmate from Half. And even though Half is a little older than me, Half was like a grade before. You know, and man, like we were like little kids. I saw a picture the other day. Man, I wish I could. I don't know what it is now, but it was like the class, the year class picture. And then you have me with Russo and Gordo. Gordo was from my room too. Me, Gordo, and Russo.
He was the same grade. Same grade.
Yeah, same grade. And then Half with my brother. You know, and then it's man. So it's like we go back for a long, long time. For like I said, man, it's like 40 years. Shit, 40 years, man. I'm getting old. Oh my gosh.
It like seems like yesterday in a lot of ways, huh?
My
When you
gosh,
think about
man, it's crazy, unbelievable. But yeah, like we can do like a month long podcast with the stories. But there was several, and man, I'm not ashamed. I mean, we did a lot of wrong things, we did a lot of correct things, but I'm not ashamed of what we did. I think it helped me on my character, and I wouldn't change it for nothing, man. Everything we passed and we did in the past, no way. It's part of who we are, you know. So
yeah, like Hein Gracie and like Gordo, they always kind of take care of us, like extra take care of us. You know, they knew we were your students.
Exactly.
And so you said Gordo was in the same grade, and was Hein the same age as you as well?
No, actually, Hein was born on exactly the same day as my sister, my younger sister. So they were born in August 14th of 1974. So Hein and my sister, they are 3 years younger than me. But Hein was always hanging out with us because, man, he was a different animal. So which kid of his age will be able to keep up with that craziness, with that wildness, with that free spirit, man? Like Hein with 8 years old, he was like running wild on the streets like crazy.
He was like a Mike Tyson, huh? Mike Tyson was like 11 years old, but like looked like a man.
Exactly. And man, Hein, honestly, he was a different human being, man. He was intense, like to the top level in everything, in love, in hate, in calmness, in peace, in violence, everything. He was like he was the most intense person I've ever met in my whole life, man. Like if they made a book or a documentary on Ryan, that would be a hit, because I see people doing Hollywood movies about some guys and that were, you know, intense, but man, like I keep comparing to what I saw and I lived with Ryan, go like, man, this is nothing, man. If they made a movie with him, it would be like a blockbuster, that's for sure, 100%. You know,
like he had a, you know, his son, right? His son, like you guys, yeah,
the kid is amazing. The kid is is super tough, like really good, and the kid is a sweetheart too, man. The kid is like so educated, polite, loves us, you know, calls us all uncle, you know, like
yeah.
There's actually something that happened kind of recently. I would say, let's see, 3 4 years ago, I was in New York because Sapo had a UFC fight. So we got there, and of course, we were at Renzo's doing the training the week of the fight. And a long time I didn't see Hiron. I saw Hiron last time I saw Hiron when he was a little kid, you know, like he was like a little after Hiron passed away. And then a long time I didn't see him. And then I looked at him, he looked at me, and actually Danilo was in me on that day. Danilo was in me, and Tahinha was in me on the same at this moment. And look at me, I look at him, I was like, kid, I was shocked because it was looking at him. And then he spoke. When he spoke, man, his voice and the way he says is identical out. It's unbelievable. You have to see this. It's out of this world. It was like Ryan was there. I was like, boom. And then I start crying right there. I start crying like right off the bat because I got emotional because it's kind of man, like it's like him. And he hugged me and said like, that's okay. My father loved you. You know that, right? I said, yeah. Man, it was a very emotional moment. And man, since then, he actually texted me yesterday. We always talk. He always send me stuff. There's a family group from him and a couple other close friends that we have him, Renzo, and Flavia, Renzo's sister, and Tia Vera, his grandmother. And we talk on this group, WhatsApp group, and all that. So, man, like it's amazing, you know. If you talk to him and you see, because you met him, you'll be like, whoa.
I've seen him. I've been talked to him and look, you know, at the tournaments and stuff. And we see him with all the you know, all the old school Gracie Barra, the original guys, you know, walking around with them, like the Gordos and
He's a great kid, man. I'm really proud and I'm really happy to see, you know, how he's being raised, how he's taking training. Seriously, he's really pretty cool, you know.
You know, like the Gracie, you know, Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, like it's, you know, it's in every part of the world now.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you talked about some of the intensity of Hein, but like the Gracie family, right? And just this energy, like, are you surprised that it's grown like it has, you know, back when you were a kid, you know, training in your neighborhood?
For sure. Look, one thing that, first of all, I wouldn't imagine that will be where we are right now. I want to be honest with you. I knew it was great. I knew it was a life-changing thing. I know like people that got involved in a certain point can never let it go to the rest of their lives. That I knew. But I never could believe the full potential that we could get. But man, like, I have to say the truth. One person that always knew and actually saw everything that we're having now. Decades ago, it was Master Carlinhos, man. Master Carlinhos was one that I clearly remember. Late 80s. We used to train at Gracie Barra, just a few people, couple of people. You know, we used to sit on the mats after training, and he would say like, we would have tournaments in the United States with 1,000 athletes one day, and people would kind of like, Carlinhos is crazy, like megalomaniac, you know. People used to say like that, and man, like I heard, it was like, man, that would be tough, but I kept it in my mind. And look at this now, man, what's going on now, bro.
Yeah.
Now 1,000 athletes is like a small IBJJF tournament, a tournament like a LA Open, Houston Open, Vegas Open. Like they have like more than 1,000. Now they have tournaments with like, I don't know, 7,000 people, like Europeans, Brazilian nationals and all that. So he always had the gift of seeing the potential on a big picture and believe on that. Master Carlos was not the guy who goes on the details and puts the hand on the things and do the details. He's always like the big picture guy, the visionary. Say like, look, this is where you should go. So who gonna make us go this way to get there faster in an efficient way? And then he gets the correct guy. He was always good on that to delegate to the correct people. So IBJJF, boom, CDM. Man, nobody knew CDM. CDM was like a guy there, but he knew it. Boom, look at how big the thing is now. You know, so this is like something that I respect a lot on him, and I actually listen to everything he says, even though I don't agree sometimes. But man, I never take it for granted, because what he's saying now, I'm pretty sure, especially during this times, I really keep on the back of my mind, because man, like he was never wrong. So far he was pretty accurate on everything. So, you know, but not me. I not in my wildest dreams I would know that I would think that jiu-jitsu would be jiu-jitsu and martial arts.
What does he say about this COVID-19 situation?
Man, like he's actually taking this in a very calm and how can I say? He's not freaking out at all. He's like a very rational about it. He said we will have to relearn as humans a lot of the things. And one of the things that he said is that now we need to learn how to use technology in jiu-jitsu in our favor in a more efficient way. And he actually said that before, you know, and sure enough, man, that's the time for us to always a community for us to get together and put our heads to work in a way that we will, man, we have to figure out a lot of things. You know, we have to figure out on how reinvent ourselves, because I think this is me. Okay, Carlinhos didn't tell me exactly that it, like he said, he's like a very, how can I say, like big picture guy, but this is me. Okay, I think that we all will need to start to record and film every class that we teach. Because I think we will have like now an audience that will be online only. I really believe that. There'll be people that will say like, man, I love this thing, but I want to do by myself. I want to do like with a dummy, or maybe with a sibling, or maybe with my wife, or my girlfriend, my boyfriend, whatever. In the safety of my house, looking at the class, participating, being corrected, and you know all that. But I don't necessarily want to be there. You know, I mean, I think it's not going to be the majority. If God willing, we come back to normality.
Know, right?
Most people like to do what they want to do. That's for sure. But I would say
those are the thoughts that get me sad, right? Because I'm not going to see it. It's not going to be the community like it was, like that we know, right?
Look, but look, brother, I think 90% of the people will go back to normal, if not more, because people feel that. People feel the necessity of that. But there will be people. Don't get me wrong. There will be people that sometimes they would not even join our schools anyway because they don't want to be with people. They don't feel good to be in an environment with a lot of people. They're more reserved. So these people, maybe they wanted to do jiu-jitsu, but not on the regular format. And now maybe they will do it. Maybe they will do it, man, because they will now do the class that everybody's doing, participating, but not physically being there and not being touched by anybody. You know what I mean? So I think we should start to think and invest actually on having like better ways to film it, like better cameras and more technology on this and all this kind of.
We have to adapt, right? We have to adapt, right? Silver lining. Maybe that's the silver lining for sure.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Like, I was just thinking that you were talking about the Carlinhos and visionary, and I remember when I first moved to Brazil. I mean, I was a kid. And like in Barra Tijuca, you know, like him driving around, he would like look to see who's drinking and drive around in the neighborhoods, you know, and people were hanging out. That's crazy, you know, how it's evolved, you know, and how like it's worldwide now. But it started from that little community of him being on top of everybody, you know, right?
Man,
like making sure they're living a healthy lifestyle.
he actually was the leader of a small community. I would say a tribe. He was the leader of a small tribe that grew so much that now the lifestyle that we had is all over the world. People talk the way we talk. People think and have attitudes the way we think. We do. People eat the way we like to eat. People behave. People train what we always train. It's amazing. It is. You're right, man. It's a cultural movement for sure. You know.
And then I remember, like, you know, the weigh-ins, for example, for all the IBJJF, like the Worlds and all the tournaments. It was in his backyard, or in his not his backyard, his front yard.
His front yard.
It was in his house.
Man, look. When I hear people talking bad about the IBJJF is money hungry, they are faceless organizations, I say, man, motherfucker, you don't know. This guy used to live with him, his wife, his 2 kids, cousins. They were there all the time that he needs to be lived under his umbrella. And they had an office on his living room from the federation in a 1-bedroom house, man, for years. You remember that, Al? You made weight there. You remember that?
Yeah, I made weight. And
man, you had this guy, Master Carlos didn't have any privacy for years and years, man. Man, and living 24/7, like the IBJJF project, and living next to his gym. You know what I mean? And everything. So how can somebody say that, oh man, it's a faceless organization, they're just about money? Man, this guy is doing this when there's zero money, man. He did this in order to grow the sport. And if the money came, good for him. If he's making shit ton of money, great for him. Because you know what? They deserve. Because I was there. Since you were there too, you saw it. All of these guys talking crap about them. Now they don't know what they're talking about, man. You know, they're not there. So
you have to deal with the Carlson Gracies, the Novo Nials. I'm gonna just say about Carlinhos, you know, like we're talking about, you know, the Carlinhos, and I'll just say I remember you know, the we with go ahead, what's that?
We're trying to remember where we stopped.
At that Carlinhos, we're talking about Carlinhos.
Okay. Yeah.
So you know, the weigh-ins, him driving around the neighborhoods, and he was always like, you know, he always treated me so well, you know, like he always took care of me. You know, he always knew like I was you know, a foreigner, and he just like, he took like I felt like that, you know, he took care of me, you know, like I remember like there was an issue one time with the weigh-ins and stuff, and he let me kind of get in there.
Yeah, he also has a lot of vibe, right? You felt that, like you can see that he's not very open to everybody.
Right.
When he has a liking of you, like when the vibes connect, he's really cool. You can feel that. You can feel that. You know?
And so I can never say anything bad, you know, because he always like took care of me. He always treated me like really, really well, and always took the effort to take care of me.
It's kind of like he took care of us when we were nobodies, right?
Yeah.
You know, like we have to remember that. You know what I mean? So
he even went to New Mexico. He went to Santa Fe, New Mexico.
Yeah, that's right. Him and Marcia, right?
Yeah, Marcia. But I think it was separate times. You know, it was separate times.
Oh, okay.
He came by himself. You know, I picked him up in the airport, and it's crazy, man. The people that I picked up, one time I picked up Horace Gracie at the airport. And the baggage guy, you know, they check your name, you know, and he's like, he looked at the name Horace Gracie, and he looked up. He's like, oh, holy shit. Horace Gracie, or, you know, Carlos Gracie. They didn't know who Carlos Gracie Jr. was, but they knew the name Gracie. And it's cool, man. It's cool, like the guys we've had come around, you know.
You've been around for a while too, right, Al? You started like when was it, like 95, around that? That's when you started?
I mean, 94, you know, 94, 95, yeah. 94, 95, yeah. And so then, like a year, like a little bit after that, I moved to Brazil with you, you know.
And what you did, few people did, honestly. I think the amount of time and the dedication that you had, like on the thing, man, it was like, I never saw. I think the closest one to you was what Amal did. Remember Amal? Like Amal was for a while there too.
Yeah, I mean, he's like my big brother. He's the reason why I moved to Brazil. He came back from Brazil and he showed me all the, not just we didn't have too many videos, but he showed me the techniques,
Exactly.
of what he was learning. And it was different, not even the same level or another level. It was like another world, compared to what we had in the US. And so I knew if I really wanted to learn like jiu-jitsu, I had to go to Brazil at that time. Like, to be like the, really learn, It wasn't even like the techniques, right? But it was like the culture and just really.
Yeah, everything.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like the whole package, I would say.
Right.
Right. It's like you experience also the lifestyle, the like I said, the complete package for you, man. I think it was the best investment you ever did, because I know you had some tough times, but
yeah,
perfect.
Well, thanks to like mentors like you and like and the community, right?
You fell in good hands, like, man. That's for sure. Because you could have fallen in like different hands, you know what I mean? So
yeah. Like I remember like like when I first went to the gym, it was on white belts and a few blue belts. So you were at the beginning, you were in the Versa Academy down the street, and
right.
And like, I went to Gracie Barra, right, in Rio de Janeiro, like the headquarters, right? But I ended up moving with you because of the culture that we had in the gym. Like I felt the connection, the human connection with everybody.
Yeah, I think I remember that. I remember that it started in Rio. You like it there. You used to live on the Gigoia Island, right?
Yeah. I mean, it was the who's who was there, right? Like, I mean, how many black belt world champions were there training on the mat?
It's man. That was like kind of the Kodokan of Jiu-Jitsu, that place, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean,
at the time,
I think.
Yeah. You all you guys were like different games, different styles, world champions. Like you guys are the best of the best, So we looked up to you, right? You guys were our inspiration, like every single day. So
that was like, good times, man. That was good times, and
Carlino sitting at Master Carlos sitting on his chair, the lawn chair on the mat,
plastic chair,
commands,
And he sit like this. Look at the lens. He still does it. He sits like this. Look, he likes to sit like this. Look, right? He goes like this.
And then he comes off the chair, and he's like, "Hey, let's train," and he puts the foot on your hip, guard and smashes you.
One good thing, man, also like a very inspirational thing about Carlinhos is that, man, like this dog, that he trains every day pretty much, man. Mm-hmm. He really walks the talk. He's always in shape, eating like perfectly like a ninja, man, like a monk, exercises every day. He trains and exercises every single day. He never missed. He shows the discipline. And he always likes to train long rounds. Remember that? Sometimes he choose like, ow, let's go. Me and you today. And then we'll go like a half an hour, 35 minute round, So that was, man, amazing. I'm really glad that I had a really good mentor like him, to show like the way, like I said, man, you'll be very easy to fall in the wrong hands, right? Can fall in the hands of like a crook or like a fake person that never walks the talk and everything. It wasn't the case. So
eating healthy lifestyle, right? You really give the example.
Man, he's amazing. His discipline still today, man. It's crazy. He's like, I think he's 63 or 64 now. I think he's 64. And man, like, the way he lives and everything is like methodical. Everything has a reason. He studies and he researches things about nutrition and then the exercise. And then he always studies and changes, applies to his age. Amazing, man. Amazing. He's like a really, really good role model,
You went to law school. You were an attorney. I'm going to switch gears a little bit. Yeah. And so when did you know? And you went the jiu-jitsu path, the jiu-jitsu way. Yeah. We always tell the stories that all the years.
Yeah.
I know you talk about how like you would have tried, but when did you know that you weren't going to go that way, and and why? Why did you choose the jiu-jitsu way?
Yeah, man, like I think there were it was 2 episodes that happened in my life that I think they were kind of like you know what we call the click. Like of course I always thought about it. I always like debated and what to do and whatnot. And the first one was actually when I was working as a lawyer trainee in a big company in Brazil called Petrobras. Petrobras is still the biggest oil company in the country and one of the biggest companies in Brazil. So I used to be a lawyer trainee on the tax law department there. So I had to put a suit every day, a suit and tie every day, and you know, like leather shoes and all that. Blah, 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 blah. And then one time I got a ride to work with my dad. My dad gave me a ride. And then he dropped me on the Rio downtown, as you've been there already, you know, that craziness, like 40 degrees Celsius heat. And then I was like, kind of like putting my tie in, like, you know, getting my stuff and putting inside my bag and all that. I say, hey, Dad, okay, thank you. Can you leave me here? I'm going to cross the street and go. And then I didn't know, but my dad saw me like, kind of like over the place, carrying the stuff and putting my tie and running and crossing. And he looked and he thought to himself, he told me this later, he goes like, you know what, that's not going to work. He thought to himself like, this is not for him. You know, that's not him. That's not him. You know, he thought about it. He told me way years after that. So he knew, like knowing me, I mean, come on, I'm his kid, you know, knowing me, he knew that wasn't the right path for me. And of course, he was always very supportive of me in my career. You know, like most of the times that I competed, he was there watching, even the black belt. He was there a bunch of times.
Yeah.
And all that. But the other pivotal moment was during the Pan Ams, the first Pan Ams in 1995. It was the first international champion in the history of Jiu-Jitsu. I went there, I won, you know, my first competition as a black belt, if I'm not mistaken, I think so, yeah. And I won, and after the tournament, like we all decided to go to Six Flags theme park. So everybody was in a vine. So it was like a lot of cars to go to this Six Flags park, which is far, which is kind of 2 hours because it's like past the valley, it's like past you guys.
Santa Clarita, yeah.
Yeah, so I had to go all the way
city north of LA.
North LA, yeah, and we were in the Irvine. So I got a ride from Master Carlos and Adriana. Remember Adriana, his ex-wife?
Yes,
It was me, Adriana, and him. And we talked. You know, it was a long car ride. And he was like, Draculino, what do you want to do with your life? And what are you thinking? And all that. Like, you finished school now, so what's your plans? I was like, I don't know. I mean, I'm studying. I think I'm going to, you know, make a test to be like a deputy police or thinking about maybe being a prosecutor. I have to study. I don't know. But I mean, I love jiu-jitsu too. He goes like this, look what I'm telling you. This is the beginning of something huge. I remember him saying that. This only going to get bigger from today. What's happening now? It's the beginning of something huge. And do you like jiu-jitsu? Would you love to make a living out of jiu-jitsu? I say, yeah, of course. But I mean, it's tough, right, Master? He goes like, trust me, because it won't be tough anymore. We will be able to have a great life through jiu-jitsu. I have a big project in my head. I just want you to believe me. If you believe me, we're going to do great things together. Long story short, this was in probably June. And then in October, I was already in Belo Horizonte. Wow. You know, making the first Gracie Barra school outside of the state of Rio de Janeiro. And then the story began right there, man. Yeah. And thank God, like we achieved more success than I could even imagine that I would, you know. So those 2 moments were the most pivotal moments. My dad with his instinct and the talk with Master Carlos in 1995.
That way. You know, one of the things that I always appreciated with you, because, you know, back in the day, back in the 90s, right? We were training like, you know, it was like a fight club days.
Yeah.
Right? And even though we were in the fight club days and, you know, like, you know, everyday porrada really, you know, only the tough survived, you know?
Yeah.
But you were always professional. You had a clean gi, like everything was professional. So you started the class on time. You were like always professional. I think
Teaching the
I was
beginners,
there.
right? Doing all
Yeah,
that.
teaching the beginners, taking care of everybody, treating everybody the same. Where do you think that came from?
Honestly, man, like the Fight Club days, like you said, it were the days that you were around now. I mean, like the early '90s and until actually the late '90s was kind of like almost
Even
pretty
early
much like
2000s, right? Even
yeah, the
like
early
early
2000s.
2000s, 2003,
Exactly.
2004.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was kind of pretty much like uh, uh, live training only, porrada every day.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody got late for class. Like everybody stayed like 3 hours. There was no time to start, no time to stop. And I never did that. I always like to make something more organized because I always understood that actually, yeah, I mean, we're the same. Like me, you, Porquinho, we kind of think alike. We're tough guys. We endure during this time. We're different. But I always thought about like, man, like I don't want to be the only a guy who works with only a certain kind of people because man like we're going to be limiting a lot ourselves financially also of course but also like man like a lot of people need jiu-jitsu more than us. We're already tough. We will be tough anyway, but man like a lot of people need jiu-jitsu more than us. A lot of people need jiu-jitsu for like life-saving skills, not only for self-defense, but man, for confidence. How many people you saw it? How many people got there to us, man? People there were like socially oppressed, people with problems like emotional problems, with like drug problems, with like, like all kinds of like problems. And they got there, they fit in, they changed their lives, and man, they're still around. You know what I mean? Maybe who knows if they'll be around or not if it wasn't for that. You know what I mean? So, man, I always understood that. And in order to understand that, I knew that I would need to put a system in place, something that made sense. Minimum time to start, minimum time to stop the class. Beginner class, advanced class. Initial intro class, I have to be there. I have to be like present to talk to a mom, to a dad. They will put their kids in there. I need to be like presentable, you know? And it's not me. I didn't invent anything out. I actually saw and witnessed like on the beginning of the 80s when I started training, it was more organized like that. As a matter of fact, like there was like group classes were Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays was only private classes. So I would go on those days because they let me train every day, but I would watch how professional they were with like doctors, with like police officers, with a businessman, with, with all these people that we call the normal people, not people like us. They were extremely professional. I remember like the way they talked and the guys were tough too. They were good, but I mean, it was like very professional. You know, it was very, the price per class was a good price that could be good for the teacher too. You know what I mean? So I saw all that and it kind of died out a little bit because the tournaments were so big and for you to be the best academy, you have to be the academy beating everybody. So kind of it got a little different, you know, but I always got in the back of my mind that, you know, the way that the Master Carlinhos and the Machado brothers in the beginning had their academy in the early 80s were the way to be more, like I said, financially better and more, how can I say, welcoming to other people.
Yeah. Zé Beleza too, right? Did amazing work too, right?
Who?
Zé Beleza.
Oh man, Zé Beleza was always like extremely professional. Zé Beleza was a visionary as well because let me tell you, nobody wanted to deal with kids. Remember that? Like teaching kids were kind of like, man, little kids do judo. Jiu-jitsu is not for kids. Forget it. And Zé Beleza always believed that jiu-jitsu could be as good or even better than judo for kids. And he always persevered. He was always the main guy in Gracie Barra to teach the kids when nobody else wanted. He had some instructors that learned from him, like Soneca learned from him, even Marcio Feitosa eventually also was like helping, you know, the kids' class. but he now has in Brazil by far one of the biggest and best kids programs in the nation. You know, he actually teaches courses all over the world about jiu-jitsu for kids, and he was also a visionary in that way too. Super professional. Zé was also a family man. Never was like a thug or like a creating havoc or anything. He was always he got married young, has his kids, and super professional. Yeah, so he's a really great example too that I got inspired by too. You know.
So you've had some great master mentors, huh? Like
Man,
over the years.
I was super
but I know
lucky.
I know a lot of black belts and, you know, like guys I think of masters, you know, but they didn't have your success or your professionalism that you had, you know?
Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
Look, I think it's all because they had the credentials, they had the knowledge, and they had the technique to do it, but they didn't do it. You know why? Because it's tough, it's hard, requires work, requires discipline. So what do you think it's better for you to get at your gym 11:30? The class is around to start like 11, but you get 11:30. You train, you hang out with your people, you don't teach techniques, you don't correct anybody, and then you leave 1:30, you know, like go to the beach, then you have lunch, come back, and then you go back to the school like at 6:37, get there until 9:30, training, hanging out, having a good time. Man, that's way easier to do this way. It's not easy to get like there at 7 a.m. on time with a clean gi, warm up, technique, beginner class, advanced class, get the people who never trained jiu-jitsu to do the intros and all that. That's tough. That's a lot of work. Like several times a day, every single day for decades. That's a lot of work. That's tough. That's not easy. And I think that it's not just because I'm different than anybody. I'm just was the one that said, look, I'm going to be doing this for the rest of my life. Professionally, that's going to be my only bread and butter. So, man, I'll be the best that I can be. And the more professional I can be in this field, that's it. Of course, I had a lot of flaws. Everybody has a lot of flaws and things that I did different that I would do different nowadays. But, man, I was never afraid of work. Never. You know?
Where does this work ethic come from? I'm curious, you know, I'm curious.
Man, like I think from my house, actually. I think I saw how my mom and dad work all their lives. You know, my mom, she started working at 13 years old, like as an assistant from a kindergarten school. And then, man, like she graduated in education to teach kids. Then she graduated in English, in basic English. And when she was already 45, around 45, she went to law school.
Wow.
Working, oh man, she used to work from 8 to 5 in downtown Rio. She used to go to the university, to college, to like from 6:30 to 10:30 p.m. She would come back home, eat, sleep. 5 o'clock in the morning, she was waking up. Boom, same all over. For 5 years, she did that. 5 years, man. And she wasn't young anymore, with 3 kids and recently divorced, you know, man. And she still had to do the things at home to see how was everybody doing, to do this and to do that and to coordinate this and then that and cook a little bit. And are you eating this? Are you taking your things? Are you know, man, when I saw my mom doing that, I was like, this was a great example. My dad also he's a doctor. So I saw like how many times, you know, they had the little thing, pager. I remember the pager thing when they get this pager thing. And of course the phone from my house. I remember like several times, like Saturday, 4:30 a.m., 3:30 a.m. Phone rings. Hey, you gotta come. You have to come now. Okay, boom. Go, and then go. And he was a radiologist, you know, and do exams and do this, and there's an emergency, blah, 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 you know. So I had like a really great example at home of hard work. And I think they were my biggest inspiration was on hard work, that's for sure. I translated that to what I do in jiu-jitsu. But I saw like a lot of people in jiu-jitsu too. They were like inspiration, not just Marcel Carlos, but like you said, Zé Beleza. Zé Beleza was always a grinder, man. He always worked hard. He was always on time, always, you know, with like a clean cut and polite and professional and good too. He was really good too. So I was glad to have great role models on that matter too, you know.
You're such an example for all of us, your hard work, you know, so I guess I have to thank your mom and your parents, you know, for giving us, passing it down to us, you know.
Thank you,
when did you start to feel like a success, you know, in your jiu-jitsu career? Like you've had, I mean, I don't know how many black belts and that you directly trained, you know, world champions. I mean, the list goes on and on. Like I would say, you know, if I was counting directly, like direct world champion, black belts and everything, like one of the top, if not for me, for the top, you know.
Yeah, I think
coach,
so
teacher, you know, and the professor, you know, of like one person, one man doing it.
Yeah.
In the world, you know.
A lot of people say that. I will tell you the truth, man. Like, I don't know. A lot of people count everything, right? They count, this year I have this. If you ask me, with all honesty in the world, my dogs are here, in all honesty in the world, I don't know, man. I really don't know. If you ask me now, how many world champions you had under you, I don't know. How many black belts you have under you, I don't know. I just know that I have a lot. I know I have a lot.
You just keep doing the work.
Yeah, I know I have a lot, and honestly, I think that even if I hadn't, I would feel the same, because I mean, I did my best. I think that's the most important thing. I don't regret on having not fail, but I don't regret like, oh man, I don't think I worked hard enough for this. You know, sometimes people get like this, man, like I had this opportunity, I didn't work hard enough, and then I didn't get the results that I could have. I don't think this about myself, because man, I really tried my best with everything I got, and I was blessed by God to have the results that put me where I am. But even if I didn't have it, I would do exactly the same way, and I will keep doing the same way. You know.
Man, what you just said, it gives me goosebumps. You know, like I feel it. You know, doing your best, putting your heart and soul into your life's work.
I see on you guys that the guys were like, you know, like were under me for years, that we knew each other like closely, and we had like this long relationship. Most of our guys, my guys, you guys under me, most of you guys are really, really, really good and hardworking and professional. Most of you, not all of you, but most of you are.
Yeah.
And I'm blessed and I'm lucky, because you guys, the generation that comes after us, you guys already went to the next level. Technique wise, for example, you guys are better than my generation, and then your guys will be better than your generation as well. So we're keeping the curve. You know, it's the opposite as coronavirus. You got to go up, right? So we're keeping this going, and because of like people like us, the art is developing. Everybody's like, everything is getting better. Everything is getting more organized. You know, we're having more. What's the word? We're having more projection. Like we are not underground anymore. You know, like we're getting more and more mainstream nowadays. So. You know, that's a good thing. It's a good feeling, man. It's a good feeling, you know.
So I wanted to just to follow up with not follow up, but just ask you again the question. When did you start to feel this the success, like the black belt, and like I'm good, you know, not to put the question in of like the best teacher or the best professor in jiu-jitsu, but when did you start feeling your success? Like I'm good. I got this.
Yeah. Like,
I'm pretty good.
There's no specific moment now, like the other thing we told you before about when I decided. I don't recall like a certain moment, but I do recall that once I moved to Belo, and when a couple years after that, I moved to the Hill Sports Center gym, and then like there was like a big, huge influx, and like the school got super crowded and money came in. I was like, man, You know, I think I made it. I think that I was right. I think that's what I had to do. You know, like it wasn't anybody getting a title or myself getting a title or anything that is kind of like a turning point. It was just like a moment. I mean, when we moved to the Hill Sports Center Academy and I saw the success that we got right away and the recognition, the respect, and I started to get respected by the society in Belo Horizonte, you know, like a very famous people, important people wanted to come and train jiu-jitsu with me. You know, like remember the son of the governor, the guy that he used to do private classes with me. The guy was the governor. His son was there with 2 bodyguards and training me, and a lot of millionaire people and judges and you know, like all these people. So it's like, you know what, man, I think I made it. You know, and then from there it was just better and better by the time, bro. It wasn't easy, but it was great. It was great. Good time.
I remember
you were there. You saw it all.
I was there. Yeah, I remember that. I remember that when you moved over there. I remember the mats were so busy, so packed. You know, like it was almost you couldn't train almost. You know,
remember that?
Two, 3 flights. You know, even but people wanted to be there. You know, and then I think with time, a little bit. I'm sure you just added more classes or whatever it was.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
But I remember from going from Versa to Real Sports Center, you were trying to, you know, make your mark, right? But once you went to Real Sports Center, you were there. You arrived.
Yeah, I arrived. It was like a better structure. We had more evidence. We had like more capability of doing better things, you know. So that gave me the sensation that, man, like I think we made it, you know. Like the very first month, it was good. Like we made more money like twice the money that we made in the other place. You know, and everybody was happy. Carlinhos was making his cut. So everything was good, you know.
Your wife, your family is able to pay their bills, huh?
Everybody paid the bills. We had like, we can, you know, have a decent car, you know. That was good times. I think there was this times were like when I really felt that I made it, you know. So I made the right decision. Let's say that's where I made the right decision. I made it. I made the right decision.
Right. It was a lot of years of still trying to think of the future, right? I mean, that's one of the reasons why you came to the U.S. in the future after that.
Man, and and then that was the other time. It was really tough because the operation to do that is harder, right? Because you move countries. You know, besides moving countries, like the culture difference and the visa thing, and you know, the adapt to everything. Everything was different, and you know that was a challenge too. But I think it was like a pivotal moment number 2. I was already consolidated before I came here. I had a name in jiu-jitsu. I had a good living, so it wasn't maybe the most impactful one. But I think maybe probably was the most challenging one. And I tell you why, because when you don't have nothing to lose, Al, it's very easy. When I don't have anything, I have nothing. Anything, I can do anything because I don't have nothing. I mean, what can I do? Nothing to lose. Just go, okay, man, you know, like I'll try to go to the US. I'm not making any money here. I have no success. I'm just going to go and see what happens. But for you to let like your life, when you had success, when you were making money, when you have your own house, when your kids were, you know, in a good school, your wife was happy, everything, go out of that comfort zone to boom, do that shift. That's tough. And it was tough. You know, I didn't have like any like sad story about, oh, I starved or I got screwed by my partner. I don't have anything like that, but I mean, it was a lot of work, man. It was a lot of adaptation. Nobody spoke English from my family. I was the only one. They couldn't even go to the market, you know.
I remember your wife.
Yeah, I remember that. You remember how she speaks great English, but she didn't speak any English.
Your kids, well, your kids were in school.
They were in school, like they learn really quick. Kids learn fast. But Jade was 13, I think. Yeah, Jade was 13, and Igor was 10. You know, and they came. Actually, Igor was 11, and Igor had zero English, zero. We tried to put him to do like some private classes in Belo. He didn't want to do it. But Jay did a couple. Jay like spoke a little bit before, but Igor, man, Igor was funny because he spoke almost no English, but with 2 weeks, with 10 years old, he already got a girlfriend. I remember her calling my house and it was in the speaker. And sometimes I have to get the phone and say like to translate, you know, to understand better. So it was like the most hilarious thing.
Oh my God.
And then he learned English like that. He learned really quick too. You know, when you got a girlfriend, you have to learn, you know. So,
yeah.
Good times.
Yeah. I mean, it's a big change, right? And it's hard to leave your black belt and the students, right? So it's like you said, you had a lot of things going on like that. I mean, I missed going, visiting and going to train after I moved back to the US. So going to visit everybody, visit you there, you know, so that's a big shift, right?
Man, it was tough because I mean, I felt like I missed everybody a lot. You know, I missed my family a lot. Mm-hmm. I couldn't leave the country until all my papers, my residency papers were on and all that. So I had to be without going to Brazil. I think like a little over 2 years, I couldn't leave the country here. And and I mean, I also had to, you remember that too. Like I had to think about the right person to leave it in Brazil because man, there was so many good people, but at the same time, it has to be the right guy. And there was a couple like of ego problems there because you know this guy wouldn't be under this guy because you know how he was, you know. So it was really tough to get the whole thing going and everything like ready for me to leave, you know. But thank God it ended up working out great. I chose the right people, you know, and look at the place now. It's still going. You went there the other day to the new school. We have our own place now. Right, which is great. And we never had that many students that we have right now. My partners are, you know, the best to have Serginho, Caloquinha, and Bolão, man. Bolão was like, Bolão was kind of the angel that came at the right time of the whole thing, you know. So we were really tight together. We do everything together. We get along great. They're always here. Man, Serginho comes here like 3 times a year. Bolão, too. You know, Caloquinha was here the other day before this crazy coronavirus crap.
Yeah.
But
they almost got stuck, right? They almost got stuck. Sururu almost got stuck.
Sururu too. Sururu
he was almost crying. He thought he was gonna get stuck. Well, if he would have came to LA, he might have gotten stuck here because they almost closed the flights to Brazil.
He was going. His wife, like she had like my wife was actually always saying. Monica was always saying, "Hey, it's worth it for you to get a ticket and leave before. Maybe if you go to LA, you get stuck there." Yeah. But even me, it was kind of like, no, come on. They're not going to let him not go back to Brazil. It should be fine. He's going to be just there one day, whatever. And then his wife said, like, you know what? No way. You're just going to come straight from Houston. And sure enough, man, it was the right thing because, I mean, if he was there on a Tuesday, he would probably get stuck in there. And without any English, oh, my God, you imagine how bad.
I went to go pick him up. And he didn't even call me. I went to go pick him up, and I called his phone, and his wife answered. I'm like, what?
That's right.
So he didn't call. It was like last minute. I guess he got a flight, right?
He was last minute.
Back.
They got last minute. I mean,
literally.
He told me in the morning because I was like, I didn't know. He said, like, man, like my wife, she bought this ticket. You know, we're gonna get out of here, and you know, I don't want to risk and anything. I said, like, look, you know what? I think you're right. I think that's what you should do, but. I didn't want to say it, but I mean, I think that's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
You know? So,
man, I just wanted to. I remember you talking about how like you started to get respect, and you had the governor's son, you had all these like millionaire, all these successful people coming in to jiu-jitsu with you, right? And in that time, there was a lot of like jiu-jitsu is not violence campaign because had a bad reputation.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And so to have these guys coming in, it was even bigger, right?
That was huge. That was huge because you remember how they called us before, right? Pit boys, remember?
Yeah.
Oh, here's the pit boys. And
Like
you
I
know
went to
what?
yeah,
A lot because of our fault too. I'm not gonna be like a sugarcoating anything.
yeah.
You know, some of us used to have some attitude. Some of us used to go to create havoc in the nightclubs and you know, like some people had like some confidence issues and they wanted to prove on the street they can beat people up or at least like being able to show that they're tough and whatever. So this kind of like went out of proportion a little bit. So this went like too far, and then the media started to attack us like big time. Remember that?
Yeah,
Man,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
the biggest magazines like Global TV, like man, like jiu-jitsu people are kind of like the devil, you know. A lot of people don't know that, but remember the revista, the magazine called Veja?
Yeah, yeah,
Veja
of course.
magazine.
It's
Veja
like
was
Time.
the
It's like Time Magazine of Brazil.
exactly. It's the time. That's a good analogy. It's a Time magazine of Brazil. So Veja was the number one magazine in Brazil. They had an edition that it was almost 10 pages talking about jiu-jitsu, and they actually talked about us, about our team in Belo Horizonte, like saying like blatant lies. Like a reporter went there, and when I wasn't there because I was I think I was out of the country. They went there and they talked to some people, including Valide, Vinicius, Vini Valide, Eric, Irapuru, all these guys, and they kind of totally distort what they said. You know, they actually made the headline of the news of the article was "The Devil Trains Jiu-Jitsu." Can you believe that?
Wow, wow.
And they said the devil trains jiu-jitsu, and then there was a picture of Ryan because Ryan had a tattoo. Remember Gracie Devil?
Yeah, you're talking about the Veja magazine article, how they made a fake,
they
the
pretty
devil.
much the devil trains jiu-jitsu. He said it was exactly their words, man. And we actually got lucky in a way that we didn't get the cover because it was a big political scandal that happened at the same time. So we got outshined by that. So it was actually good because we would probably be the cover. The cover would be a devil and saying the devil trains jiu-jitsu. You know what I mean? So anyway,
How did it improve? What happened? Because nobody brought their kids in or anything at that time, right?
Yeah, it was like almost no kids. Like people used to think there was just a bunch of thugs. It was kind of like a fight club and only hooligans, pretty much. We're the hooligans of the times, you know. And we all know it's not true. There were some, but like everything in life, there were all kinds of walks of people, you know, walks of life. So I think that we talked about having all these people starting to train changed the image because people started to see that the normal, respectable people from society were there and being treated fairly, liking us, helping us out with a bunch of things. And then little by little that started to change, you know. Also, we got lucky too because a lot of famous people took our side. Remember that? A lot of actors, a lot of actresses, a lot of like politicians. Remember like guys like Zé Moraes, guys like the governor of Amazonas. Shit, what's his name? I forgot his name. Anyway,
he was the mayor of Rio de Janeiro, right? He was the
like Zé Moraes was, and there was this guy that he was a governor of Amazonas. He's a senator now. I forgot his name, but anyway, like a lot of these people went in our to take our side, you know, saying like, look, no, it's not like that. It's not exactly like that. It's like it's you guys are generalizing. I trained jiu-jitsu all my life, and you know, ex-presidents, ministers, and all that. It's just a few people that, you know, that kind of thing. And little by little started to change, you know. Like I think also one thing that helped out is when MMA took off like big time in a very professional way, that MMA got bought by the Bertidas and all that also changed because there was a lot of Brazilian idols in the beginning, like Anderson Silva and Jose Aldo and even Vitor, all these guys, and they were like respectable guys, family men and all that, you know. So that changed also. So there was like channels like the Combat Channel in Brazil that is only for martial arts, you know. So it started to have a bigger market. and more and more famous people, even more actors, actresses, that soap operas are showing jiu-jitsu and all that. So it actually saved us on that time. So it was a really cool thing, you know, like we are not the devils anymore. You know what I mean? So, and nowadays it's totally different, as you know. I was tons of kids, tons of women, you know, like everybody trains jiu-jitsu nowadays, for everyone, for sure. You know?
What an amazing journey these years have been, right, for everybody involved.
We've been
best
through
times of our lives. What are some things that you're most grateful for when you look back at these decades?
Man, like I'm grateful.
Just your lifestyle.
Yeah, I'm grateful first that everybody that I had in my life, they're amazing people, starting from my family, from my wife, from my kids, and from my mentors in jiu-jitsu, for jiu-jitsu, my college mentors, everybody. I really was really blessed and lucky to have a lot of people. They were good people that helped me out, that gave me the right inspiration. I'm actually also grateful for the bad people, because it always makes us smarter, always makes us know that there's not only good in the world, that's evil in the world as well. And then we get like smarter in every sense. So man, I think I'm grateful that God gave me the right people in my life. Thank God, you know. So if I would say something, that would be this.
COVID-19. What's the mindset that as martial artists, as all of us going through this situation, what do we want to keep in mind?
I like to always make a parallel of everything that happens in life with jiu-jitsu. I always like to do that. The situation first was like we heard about a really tough guy that will fight us eventually, but we didn't really pay attention on him. All of a sudden, he's in front of us. So we said, no problem, I'm going to beat him up. It's going to be one more guy there, one more person that's going to beat him up. All of a sudden, this guy took us down and passed our guards. So at the moment, we are defending pressure from a very tough and relentless and vicious opponent on top of us. And it's time for us now to regroup, to maintain calm, to be positive and to think about the best, but at the same time, using our defenses more than any time else. Eventually waiting for the opportunity to reverse the game, get on top, mount, and choke this thing out. So I think that the moment that we live in now, he passed our guards, you know, like he's on our side, putting pressure.
Watch your arms, keep your elbows in, right? Don't let the guy
we need to be
catch you.
calm. We need to be calm. We need to be conscious. We need to be positive. We cannot give up. We need to be there. And then little by little, we know that we're going to have our chance. And then when the chance is there, boom, we're going to capitalize it. So it's pretty much a parallel with jiu-jitsu, I say.
Well said. Well, thank you for your time, Master. I'm really looking forward to seeing you again. Thank you for everything you've done for me. Thank you for this amazing culture and work you've done, your life's work, you know. I mean, and there's not even words, right, I can say. But I think about you almost every day, and I appreciate everything you've done. So.
Thank you, my brother. And let me tell you, too, thank you, too. You opened a lot of doors for me. And actually, if I didn't have you in my life, I'd probably not be as international as I am right now.
I have the record. When you opened up the gym in Texas on MySpace. It was the time of MySpace. You put an ad on MySpace. That was the only advertising you did, right?
Yeah.
I flew in and I signed up like, man, I don't know,
like 50 people
in a couple hours.
People. Crazy.
Yeah, 20 something in a couple hours. But there was a line and I had them fill out the paperwork while they were online.
Nobody beat your record, man. In one day, you are the record.
Come on, yeah.
You put it a record, man. We signed up 37 people that day. You did like
2 hours. 2 hours.
And Wolverine did all the other ones. So, yeah, you guys are my American brothers, man. Thank you so much. I'm never going to forget that.
Thank you, Master. Thank you, Master.